I'm going to be taking a look at one of our subscribers' trad ladyface tattoos, and they almost got it right, but they broke one of the golden rules in tattooing. And chances are, if your colored tattoos aren't turning out as vibrant and as bold as what they should be, then there's a really high chance that you're making this mistake as well. So stick around, I'm going to show you exactly why it happens and how to fix it every single time. Now, a massive shout out to this volunteer that's let us critique this piece and given us permission to roast it. Now, when I look at this piece, the first thing that I would change, okay, we can see that the colors are super muddy, all right? Especially in the bandana. If you look at the blue, it's got red in it. And if you look at the red, it's got a bit of blue in it. And especially over here, like it's just very dull and the life is just like pulled out of the color. Luckily, this is quite easy to fix, but before we get into how, if you'd like to see some of your own tattoos in these videos, make sure that you submit a photo of your fake skin tattoos. There's a link in the pinned comment just down below this video. So before I absolutely incinerate this piece, okay, let's start with what they did right. The line weights are good, okay? Trad, you want thick, bold, heavy line work, and they've done exactly that. They've got a consistent line weight throughout the entire piece. Perfect. Second thing is the limited color palette. If you look at traditional tattoos, they only use a couple colors here and there, okay? Now, even though in this piece, blue isn't that commonly used in traditional tattoos, but it is there. And the third thing is the shading is in the right spots. If you look at the hair, they've got the classic, shading on both sides of each one of those little sections of hair with a nice little highlight that comes through the middle, just to give it like that bright, shiny feel. So they've done a lot of things right in this piece. I'm gonna be scoring this tattoo on 4 different things. The first one is gonna be line quality, saturation, contrast, and smooth transitions. So now let's get into the roast. The biggest thing with this piece, right, is you gotta be a lot more careful with the color. This is not a design issue, this is a technique issue, okay? The hearts, the red hearts that you've got in between the banner, they're fine, okay? That could work, but what's happening is that as you start to tattoo the skin, and the mag is going over those areas, it's opening up the skin, okay? Once you tattoo over a section and it opens it up, it's very receptive to ink. It's very easy to stain colors. So you always wanna make sure that you're wiping away from other sections of the tattoo as opposed to just smearing another color all the way over it and just completely messing it up. Otherwise, your colors will start to mix, okay? And then they just start to get duller and duller and duller. Oftentimes, dipping your needles in the rinse cup isn't enough. You need what's called dip foam, okay? You can get these on Amazon, like they're not crazy expensive or nothing like that, but they're just little circular sponges, all right? And what you do is you put a little bit of water in one of them, the other one you leave dry, and you will dip your needles in the rinse cup, then you dip on the wet sponge, and that sucks out most of the pigment. Then you dip in the other rinse cup and then you dip on the dry sponge and it just completely pulls out all of that pigment out of that needle cartridge. You could go from tattooing a black outline to doing a clean white highlight and it will be perfect. So here's a version of the same design that I did on a live call with the students this week where I redid this tattoo and you can see the difference, right? On the left, you've got the original, and on the right, you've got the one that I've redone. You can see the difference in the colors. On my one, you can see that the reds are nice and pure, same with the blues, and the colors are nice, bright, and vibrant. The reason for that is that I make sure that my paper towel gets changed every time I switch colors. I make sure that there's no ink on the side of my glove, and I also use the dip foam to completely pull out the pigment when I'm switching between colors. So then that way, I get pure pigment going into the skin and nothing gets muddied up. And the thing that you want to remember here as well is that each new additional color that you mix into a pigment, okay, it restricts your options. So when you wipe one color over another, if it's just red and blue, it'll go a little bit purple, all right? But then you've got 3 colors mixed together. You've got red, you've got blue, and you've got purple. So if the complement to any one of those 3 colors gets wiped over the top, you're gonna get massive desaturation, okay? Every single color that you mix together reduces your options of additional colors that can be mixed with it. Now that doesn't mean you can't put complementary colors next to each other, but you just can't mix them together. And if you do, that's what happens when you see tattoos that just are completely flat, there's no vibrancy in the color, and they just look dull. So moving on from the color theory, fix number 2 would be to add skin breaks, okay? This not only is gonna make your tattoo a hell of a lot faster, but it's gonna make your traditional tattoos look better. So you can see here how I've just erased some of that blue and put a bit of a skin tone in there. That's gonna do a couple of things, right? It's going to make it, first of all, faster to tattoo, and it's gonna have more of that trad look because it's going to enable you to limit the amount of colors that you have in the piece. You don't need a dark blue, a medium blue, and a light blue, you just need blue. And then you put some black down first, you put blue over the top of it, you whip that out to skin tone, boom, done, you move on. On top of that, when you have skin tone in the piece, you leave space for your white highlights. Your white highlights are gonna look significantly brighter when they're done on untouched skin, as opposed to if you just go over like a light blue and then you try and put white over it. You'll still be able to see it, but it's not going to look as vibrant as if you were just done it on untouched skin or like closed skin. Now they've got the right idea with the rose, but I would actually add in a couple of skin breaks just to pull the rosebud forward from the petals that are behind it, so you've got a good level of depth in it. And you can see here as well, the black comes out very, very far, right? When I want to just put in a little bit of black to darken a color, I don't start off by packing it in, okay? I hang my needles out a little bit further and I just whip that black out very, very gently, and then I pack and saturate red over the top. So then I just get like a slightly darker red, and I still have lots of room to blend it out to skin tone. For the next fix, it's gonna be the shading in their hair, okay? They've got it in the right places, but there's just not enough black. And I say this about almost every single tattoo that I review, there's never enough black in it, okay? You should not be able to see these individual hairlines that connect with this section of hair here. It should be so dark on each side of these little hair sections that you can't see the outlines in the deepest parts. So you can see that when you have the black in there, okay, obviously this is super rough, but when you are able to conceal the beginning and the end of those individual hair strands, you get that nice 3D form, and you get like those lots of volume in those locks of hair, and it looks really nice. On top of the hair, having some shading in the face would also give this piece a lot more depth. Even if it's just a little bit, by darkening up the eyebrow, okay, and then having just a little bit of shading. You could do it in black and gray, or you could do it in like a dark kind of brown. Both would work. So you can see that we put some shading on the face, and there's a couple reasons why we've done this, right? So first of all, we've added a little bit of depth underneath the chin, the bottom of the lips. You're always gonna see the face kind of go in a little bit. We've added a shadow under the nose and a little bit of shadow under the brow. And also we've used some red to put on the cheeks, so it's like a nice kind of blush, and really just kind of highlight that circular cheekbone. We've left a negative around the very outside of the face just to make sure that we don't lose depth by having like a really dark brown on here, and then also underneath the chin. By having that line just across the chin, you can put a whole bunch of dark shading underneath the chin, and it's not going to merge with the jawbone. But aside from the shading and the skin breaks, the biggest impact that you could have on this piece will be making sure that the colors are not stained. Now, if you're watching this video and you're having the exact same issues with your color tattoos, here's what I'd recommend, okay? Get two shapes, put them inside each other, tattoo them different colors without muddying them up, okay? Now, this sounds simple, right? But if you're just getting started, it's actually quite difficult, because it's going to force you to have to dab your paper towel instead of wiping it, which is everyone's first instinct to get all the ink off. You need to get in the habit of cleaning your cartridges between colors so that you don't mix the pigments together and muddy them up. And also you have to work in the right order, okay? You can't just tattoo a bunch of yellow and then do a bunch of electric blue next to it and expect it to come out completely crisp, all right? You do your dark colors first, leading up to your light colors. I'll give you a free tip that will make this a lot easier. If you put glide over the area that you just tattooed, it acts as a protective barrier, so it makes it much harder for the ink to stain the color, so that when you wipe it, it just comes straight off instead of being soaked into the open skin. And if you want to do color tattoos, this is something that you absolutely need to get locked down. I remember when I was first starting, I would have 2 rinse cups, right, when I was tattooing. And the way that I cleaned my needles was I just dipped them in one water cap, and then I used to like shake them against the workstation, right? And it would cause a mess everywhere, and sometimes we're getting the other ink caps and stuff that you have, and sometimes you'd accidentally bash the needles on the table, and then you have to get a new cartridge, which was terrible. And a lot of the tattoos that I did, especially as I get towards the end of the tattoo, they would just start to muddy up and they get really, really dull, okay? And I couldn't figure it out because I was dipping my needles and I was just holding that machine in that water for a very long time. And it wasn't until years later where I did a guest spot overseas and I saw another artist use this exact same brand of dip foam sponges in their color tattoos, and that's how they're able to suck all the pigment out of their cartridges and get really clean, vibrant, colorful tattoos. This is exactly why we started doing seminars with other artists around the world, and why we have multiple mentors in our coaching program for our students, so they can have a more comprehensive education of tattooing and be prepared to enter the industry in 2026. We put out one of these critique videos every single week, so subscribe to make sure that you don't miss one. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.